Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Thursday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone, yada. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Hope your week has gone fantastic, y'all. This is our final day here at SEC Football Media Days. It is Auburn, Tennessee, and Texas 8-4 to wrap out the day and the week here in Atlanta, GA. So, storylines abound today. Obviously, Auburn nearly fired Brian Harsin this offseason, so that was a really big deal. So that's one, clearly. Tennessee and Josh Heupel, Hendon Hooker will be here today. Get Tennessee take the next step. They obviously play in Baton Rouge this year. And then LSU heads to College Station, and then just very obviously with Jimbo and Nick and their kerfuffle this offseason. All the NIL talk, that'll be big today. Can Texas A&M take that step sort of as a program? So we'll do about 15 minutes here, y'all, and then I'm gonna jet over to Media Days. I'll catch up Brian Harsin this morning. Try to get as many interviews in the can as possible, so that way I can send it on down the line, and y'all can hear all of it this afternoon while we fly back. So, all right, we'll say some good mornings. Let me know what y'all got. Appreciate y'all for being here. Jason Horn, what's good, man? Tim Gotro, Weston Weaver, Patrick Ramos. Let's see, Tim, you think Jimbo can provide AFR with a quote to use as a drop today? Like, bro, Bible's last breath? Maybe, just because, quite honestly, Tim, Jimbo's accent is such that even when he says something normal, it can sound funny. So, yeah. Hey, y'all, tell me what you think. I need, like this shirt, by the way, Cricket. Button that one or not? Go no. I'm going no button. Also, not super fond of like the freaking hanger stick thing right there. I hate when that happens. Wish there was an easy way to get rid of that. Someone probably knows some type of trick, but a little hanger poof right there. Hate that. Anyway, what you gonna do? Let's see. Larry Garner, good morning. Raymond, good morning. T-Bob's slightly less attractive cousin. Sup, Scone. All right, Eric, really enjoying the content this week. Scone, how hard is it for you to not say Ark and Fraud yesterday? You know what, Eric? I didn't even think about it. More than anything, I would have said Arkansas, right? But I only used Ark and Frauds when they got up to number 8 in the country last year because they were not a top 10 team. They had beaten Texas and Texas A&M in September, and so they got all the way up as high as number 8. And I'm like, this is not the 8th best team in the country. And so that's when I started calling them the Ark and Frauds. And T-Bob was pushing back, trying to say they were legitimate. And that's why it went Ark and Frauds. We'll see how they do this year, man. I think that's probably maybe, I haven't voted yet for the all-conference team. I think maybe that's my biggest takeaway is no one really has a good answer for after Bama in the West, Georgia in the East, who's next. Nobody really has a good answer. I think my takeaways, y'all, are I'm going to go Kentucky and Ole Miss. And before you go, look at their schedules. I think that's my biggest takeaway is those two have the most good coaching, coming off really good seasons last year, maybe an expectation of winning. Look at their schedules. Joey B19, what's more ridiculous, Saban talking about competitive balance or Jimbo denying NIL constantly? Jimbo. But you know what, Joey B19, I understand what Nick is saying. He is longing for, what he's saying is he's longing for competitive balance in college football. But he's saying, listen, I get it. We're one of the halves. He keeps saying that. Like, I know there's not competitive balance, and it benefits us, but he wants more competitive balance. It's just there hasn't really been competitive balance in college football ever. I mean, even before the massive TV contracts, just think about the programs that were on TV. Notre Dame, Nebraska, Oklahoma, USC, Penn State, Um, you get it. Ohio State, Michigan, Nebraska, like those are the halves. It was impossible for teams that weren't them necessarily to compete. Larry Garner, cool shirt. Yeah, man, I like it. So, a buddy of mine, Richard Zulik, is partner in this brand called Cricket. They're based out of Austin or Dallas, like somewhere in Texas. Anyway, so I got the shirt. I really like it. I don't like so much this little hanger poof right there. I'm gonna have to see if I can figure that out. But Scott Loom 12, Matt, why does the room seem so empty when they zoom out as the coach is walking on stage? So, I guess it kind of depends which coach is talking. So he's talking about in the main room at the Hall of Fame. So there are probably 20 rows of tables, 10 across each side, and they probably just don't need. It's a big room, and they probably just don't need as much seating as they have. But when Nick's in there, it's pretty full. When Clark Lee is in there, not so much. You know what I mean? But that's why not every media member sits and listens to every coach all week. Like, for example, if you're a Tennessee beat writer, you may not necessarily need to sit there and listen to Arkansas, for example. Makes it like, they may play. I forget if they play. They don't play this year, but you get it. So some may leave. Cliff Nelson, morning Scone, hashtag Team Drew. You need to say Brian Dennehy Stadium at some point on air. I did say that to, I did say it, I think I said it on Tuscaloosa radio with Ryan Fowler, and I don't think he caught it. Let's see, I'd prefer the shirt to be fully unbuttoned. The GOAT, great content this week, Matt. Thank you very much. Ronnie Duga, good morning. Might see you Saturday. Yes, Saturday, Rouse's. Saturday morning at Rouse's in Denham. They're doing a whiskey tasting event. They have like Van Winkle's and B-Tax. It is. Let me see. I have it in a text message on my phone. Anyway, I'll give you the info on air. Wendell Norman, Weston Weaver, how much would you have to pay? How much would we have to pay you to ask Jimbo what it's like coaching the A&M Maggies? LOL. Oh, I could drop Maggies, the Texas A&M Maggies. I'd have to do it like that. I wouldn't like the Texas A&M Maggies. I wouldn't do that. I would say like the Texas A&M Maggies. What's it like for you to coach the Texas A&M Maggies? By the way, that's an OG Morning Scone reference for those that don't know it. Drew, when my son Drew learned all of the schools in the SEC, he knows all the mascots from around the SEC, and so when we say I'll go the Texas A&M, and he'll go Maggies. Let's see. Jason Horn, Jason Austin, Ryan Amanda Guidry, Lowell Cormier, morning Matt, biggest takeaway from media days. Yeah, I think that would be the biggest one so far, Lowell, is that I don't think that there's a clear cut, that there's any type of consensus. Did y'all see that lightning? It is like storming this morning. Can you hear that? There's not a consensus behind Alabama and Georgia in their respective divisions. That's probably my biggest takeaway. Aiden Cruz, Matt, what are your thoughts on what Kirby and company had to say yesterday? Yeah, Kirby, my biggest thought about Kirby was he sounds more and more and more like Nick Saban every day. Which, while it's a good guy to emulate, right? But that was my biggest takeaway from them for sure. Ben Dupuy, and the other thing Kirby said that was really interesting, Kirby said, you get the complacency question, right? You win your first title in 40 years, and everyone's like, are you content, complacent, and all that stuff. And he said, complacency isn't going to be our issue. Our issue is going to be experience. And the more you think about it, they had 15 players drafted. 15. That's a modern draft record. So I kind of believe him. That you have so many new players that haven't done it yet. Like, I get it's not complacency. It's we got a dude step up that haven't done it before. Got a lot of talent, but can they? Ben Dupuy, favorite thing from Kelly was he knows every college football athlete from Louisiana, and they're going to be ready when they enter the portal. Yeah, it's definitely been a focus of theirs. Father John David Mathern, Jason Austin, what's been the most intriguing interview? I really enjoyed talking to, Sankey's always good, because for me, I just find that to be like a challenge. Like, for a guy that's really on autopilot, very, very hard to get him off his spot, because he's asked the same questions a bajillion times all week, and he's got his answers ready. I like the challenge of that to see if I can get him off his spot, and I did, actually, which was good. And but a player that we interviewed that I thought that I enjoyed the most was, I think, Takarion Joyner from South Carolina. I thought I was really impressed with him. That's. I thought all the LSU guys did great, especially Mike Jones and Jack Besh. I thought were great. Not to single out B.J. Ojolari to say he didn't do great. I just thought like Mike Jones might have been one of the top 2 or 3. Mike Jones, Mike Wright from Vandy. You're talking about a short list of your best ones to come through here all week. All right, any more coming up on 9 o'clock Eastern? T-Bob mentioned on OTB he got to the media days because Russell Shepard lied about living on campus. Lived with his girlfriend rent-free, broke some rule. I remember that. Okay, that was it. Because I was saying Shady's bar fight, and I'm like, that wasn't it. But because that was later, that was at the end of camp. But yeah, that was it. Because he took his stipend, or whatever the money was he got for housing, but lived with his girlfriend, and then pocketed the money. Didn't actually use it for housing, which is not allowed. That's what happened with Shepard. Earliest we'll get to see Scone Stradamus. Hopefully week 1. Brett Dagro, what time does the Rouse's event start Saturday? Brett, I think it's like 10 to noon. Like, it's early. I need to check, though. I know I have it in a text message. I just need to check to make sure I have it right. The Maggies are more intimidating than the Aggies. Ryan Pike, James. God, I need like a Zyrtec. Oh my God, my allergies this morning. Jameis Winston plus 400 win comeback player of the year. What you think? I like it. I think Winston and Mike Thomas each are a great play. Will Georgia have a 2020 LSU-like season this year? No, I don't think so. It's kind of unfair to comp Jeremiah also just because of COVID. Threw a lot of things on its head. And Kirby has maintained a lot of his staff. They did lose Dan Lanning, the DC, but tough comp. There you go. Thank you, Ronnie. All right, it is 10 to noon. Michter's 10-year. Old Forester, 150. Well, I know they put 1500th, but it's 150th anniversary. Stagg Jr., Thomas Handy, the 12-year Pappy Van Winkle Lot B, and then Weller 12. It's a good lineup. It's a really good lineup. Your Heisman favorite from the SEC? Well, I mean, it's Bryce Young. I mean, he's the reigning winner. He's got to be the guy. So just think quarterback from a team that does really well. It's Bryce Young. I mean, you could throw Stetson Bennett in there as well. I don't necessarily think he'll believe it. He'll win it, though. If you want a dark horse, I'd give you Anthony Richardson. I mean, he's a special athlete, and if he gets Florida to, say, 10-2 and nobody's expecting much, and he has one of those monster seasons like 3,000 yards passing, 1,000 yards rushing, he could be there. Could have like an RG3 type year where if there isn't a clear-cut dude at the top, RG3 And Baylor, I think, were 10-2 that year, or maybe 9-3. I think they were 9-3 and lost the bowl game. But it just wasn't another clear-cut guy. He had such a phenomenal year, and he won it. Patrick Ramos, thoughts on it not boding well for Jimbo that he's already tentatively on the hot seat, that his star player coming to media days gets arrested. So, Patrick, I think you're going to find it interesting. One of the interviews we'll air today is Billy Lucci from Texags, and I asked him that question point blank, like, if A&M goes 8-4 again, it's like, is Jimbo on the hot seat? He's like, no, not even close. They won the Orange Bowl 2 years ago, which they think is a big deal. I don't, because it was the COVID year. But and then they know the recruiting class they just signed, 2023, they feel like is the team that should be able to compete. There you go, Jordan. Landed to be our last night hit Phils. There you go. Jeremiah Hardell, Will Anderson, nope. Look, he's a wonderful player, but a defensive player is not going to win the Heisman. Joey B19, is Jimbo on the hot seat with a $100 million contract? Yeah, no. Brian Wynn, good morning. All right, y'all, I think we are done. A couple more over here on Facebook. Matt, when are you going to start your nightcap shows again, or are you? Yeah, Aiden, the tough part about that, man, is T-Bob and I started doing Scone and T live from Oliver Twist on Wednesdays, so that replaced nightcap. Like, I can't do AFR 3 to 6, go over to Oliver Twist, do 7 to 8, get home, and then do nightcap from 9 to whenever. I do have a family that I enjoy seeing sometimes. Kelly Groves, hey, Josh Ennis show. 4 is a lot of days. Here it is, buddy. It is. I'm ready to go home. Charlie Cavell. All right, y'all. It's not perfect timing. 9 Eastern. I got to go. Got to get over there and catch up Brian Harsin on the main stage and get some interviews canned for today's show. Appreciate y'all watching all week. Do me a favor, YouTube, smash that like button. Facebook, like the page, share the post. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe up to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Facebook, please like the Matt Moscona Facebook page. All right, we appreciate y'all, man. Catch AFR today at 3. Looking forward to being back in BR later this afternoon. And see y'all tomorrow for Morning Scone. Peace.